Bengal was partitioned twice. The second time was in 1947, when India was divided up primarily on religious lines. The first time was about 40 years earlier on October 16, 1905, as part of a diabolical scheme hatched by Lord Curzon. This gave birth to the Swadeshi and boycott movement that in many ways laid the foundation of the future Satyagraha movement as a tool for protest against British rule and its policies. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, the Swadeshi movement was the very soul of Swaraj or self-rule. The intensity of the movement was such that despite merciless crackdowns and police brutality, it brought the mighty colonial masters to their knees. In 1911, the British were forced to meekly roll back the partition orders and reunite Bengal once again, albeit in a slightly altered form. What was the reason the British decided to partition Bengal? What was the nature of the Swadeshi movement? What united all of Bengal to fight this arbitrary decision by the colonial autocrats? Let's explore. It all started with Lord Curzon's declaration to partition Bengal. The nefarious plan was finalized in 1905 when Muslim-dominated East Bengal was separated from the Hindu-dominated West. The official excuse given was that a united Bengal was too huge and therefore impossible to govern under a single administrative authority. From an undivided Bengal province that included present-day West Bengal, Bangladesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, parts of Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Assam, Curzon created the province of Eastern Bengal, which included 15 districts of Bengal plus Assam, most of which was Muslim. Dhaka was made its capital. He then lodged Odisha, Bihar, Jharkhand and parts of Chhattisgarh with the western districts of Bengal, most of which was Hindu, to create the western province with Calcutta as the capital. Curzon insisted that the partition would allow the British to manage the two Bengals better, but the people of Bengal did not buy these arguments. They knew that the actual reason for partitioning of Bengal in 1905 was to weaken the emerging wave of Indian nationalism, of which Bengal was regarded as the nerve center. Led by the educated and aware Bengali Bhadralok, the coming together of the people in large numbers had begun to bother the British. But the very wave of nationalism the British sought to crush got an extra lease of life from this event. Slogans like Vande Mataram, born from the ashes of the partition, became the mantra on the lips of every freedom fighter. Vande Mataram, Sujalam Suflam, Malayaja Sheetlam, Shasya Shamla Mataram. Written by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee in 1870 in his book Anand Mat, and first sung by Rabindranath Tagore in 1896. On 16th October 1905, the day the partition was made official, Rabindranath Tagore called it the day of national mourning. Normal life had come to a halt. Responding to Tagore's call, thousands of people across castes and different walks of life in Bengal took to the streets, walking barefoot in silent procession and tying rakhis to each other as a symbol of brotherhood and unity. Tagore also wrote a song at the peak of the Swadeshi movement titled Amar Shonar Bangla as an ode to Mother Bengal. Later, during the Bangladesh Liberation War, the first 10 lines of the song were adopted as the country's national anthem in 1971. On the political side, the partition lit a fire that the British could not control. Spearheaded by firebrand freedom fighters such as Master Das Surya Sen, Bipin Chandra Pal, Surendranath Banerjee, and Aurobindo Ghosh, it also led to the formation of the Jugantar Party as an inner circle of the Anushilan Samiti in April 1906. This was an organization that was credited with nurturing the revolutionary movement during the Agni Yuga, or the Age of Fire, in the Indian freedom movement. By 1909, the movement had spread across the rest of India. In different regions, the movement was known by different names. For example, in Andhra Pradesh, it was called as Vande Mataram movement. During that time, Bal Gangadhar Tilak also declared Swaraj is our birthright. The movement had also assumed a huge social dimension. Bengalis from East and West launched an effective boycott of British-made goods. Some protests turned violent, and shops selling foreign goods were burned. All traders were warned of importing foreign articles, and fines were imposed on them if they violated the sanctions. Brahmin priests refused to assist religious ceremonies in houses where European salt and sugar were used. Instead of wearing foreign-made cloth, people vowed to use only domestic cottons and other clothing made in India. Simple hand-woven saris became high fashion, first in Calcutta and then all across India. One of the most unnoticed category of products that played a very interesting role in the Swadeshi movement were matchboxes. Matchbox labels provided great ad space, and Hindi movie makers started to advertise their films on their covers. In this way, the matchbox has played a big role in spreading the message of the Swadeshi movement across the nation. Right after the partition, Lord Curzon returned to England, leaving Bengal in a mess. In December 1911, the diabolical plan of the British finally fell apart, forcing the colonial government to bow down to the popular will of the Indian people. Then Viceroy Lord Hardinge announced that Bengal would be reunited. All districts where Bengali language was spoken became a single province, while Assam, Bihar, Odisha were separated. Curzon's mischievous divide and rule mantra returned to haunt Bengal again in 1947. But that is another story.